back to the news and back to Veterans Affairs, where this is an interesting one that we teased yesterday, and I had to thank my good friend David, a longtime friend from back in college, who posted this. Also a veteran as well. Actually, he's still serving. He hasn't quite left yet, so he's still eking out some more days in the service. But this is one because VA has been an important piece of President Donald Trump's platform about changes that need to happen. And of course, in the process, they fired a bunch of folks, so change has happened. Here's an actual statement or a policy that's come into place that may have you a bit head scratching, if you will. Apologies for that. Try to get that cough out. But let me get this one. So Department of Veteran Affairs has initiated a new task force to initiate reports of alleged anti-Christian bias within its ranks, which is following a directive from President Donald Trump's February executive order aimed at eradicating such bias from federal agencies. Now, we've had a lot of talk about anti-Semitic things across the board. Here's a batch that's anti-Christian bias in agencies, which may be a problem with separation of church and state. We'll get to that in a moment. The VA Secretary Doug Collins informed employees via department-wide email requesting them to report instances of discrimination against Christians, including details such as names, dates, and locations. Task Force seeks to find information on various forms of alleged discrimination, including adverse responses to religious exemptions, requests under previous vaccine mandates, reprimands for displaying Christian symbols, and retaliation against employees who abstain from procedures conflicting with their Christian beliefs, such as abortions or hormone therapy. It's an initiative part of a broader government-wide effort led by Attorney General Pam Bondi to identify and rectify anti-Christian bias in federal agencies. The move has sparked criticism among civil liberties advocates and lawmakers that argue that it may be prioritizing Christian beliefs over other religions and blurring the lines between church and state. As I said, we'd get to that. Senator Richard Blumenthal, the top Democrat on the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, expressed concerns that the task force could divide the veteran community by favoring Christianity over other religions, emphasizing the importance of equal treatment of all faiths under the First Amendment. You know, that thing. VA's move comes amid broader organizational changes and potential job cuts within the department, adding the ongoing debates around its priorities and administration's approach to religious expression in government. So it's a problem. It actually is a problem to put the emphasis on one religion, Christianity, and sort of fight back on people who aren't really doing difference to that. And the biggest issue is, unlike many other religions where there really is more of a strict sect, and you can detail the sect, and if it's split in divisions, you know exactly what they do. Christianity is kind of all over the place, if you will, especially if you are evangelical, where there basically are no real rules except love Jesus and love America, I guess. So what you're seeing here is a way to basically discriminate against people who aren't Christian, who aren't professing Christian religion, and who don't want to do things because they have some sort of Christian belief. If you're tasked to do something and your belief says you can't do it, there's an issue. You may have to leave that place because it doesn't follow your beliefs, but the place doesn't necessarily have to change its policies because you don't have to follow your beliefs. They just have to find some way to make things work. The push is a push. That's a bit of an extra push that should not be pushed.